Hi, my name is Angie Medlin, and I am a 29-year-old English professor from sunny Southern California with a few poetry publications under my belt while I work on my two debut novels, one being a romantasy novel, the other being a zombie apocalypse novel. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Writing Talks with Angie. Today we are going to be discussing a very important concept to writing, just about anything, pacing. Now, when it comes down to pacing, my main advice for most writers, either budding writers or professional writers, is to think about your sentence length. Longer sentences tend to slow the reader down and are really useful when you're trying to add a lot of description and detail and world building, versus shorter sentences, which tend to speed up a scene and add a lot to the action if you are writing kind of an action-packed scene in your story. So today I'm going to be discussing more on the end of longer sentences and longer sentence pacing in part 2, which I'm going to throw up another video on pacing in a couple of days. That one will be on shorter sentence pacing. So again, we're going to focus on longer sentence pacing, which again is there to slow the reader down and to add detail. So I think the best way for me to kind of show the differences between kind of writing shorter sentences versus those longer sentences is to just give an example. So I actually pulled an excerpt from my romantasy novel, and I'm going to be showing or reading 3 different versions of it: a good version, a better version, and a best version. And at the end, we're going to talk about why the best version is the best version when it comes to these longer sentences. So this is the good version. Towards the north of Waxham was the province of St. Beatrice. Here, Ianthe beat her wings. She beat her wings with haste. She sped towards home. She chanced to glance back at where she'd breathed fire. Then Ianthe watched as the flames roared higher. They roared higher than intended. Her chest felt heavy and tight. There was simply no turning back. This is the better one. To the north of Waxham was the province of St. Beatrice. Here, Ianthe beat her wings with haste. She sped towards home. Then she chanced to glance back at where she'd breathed fire. She'd watched the flames roared higher than she had intended. This caused her chest to feel heavy and tight, but there was simply no turning back. And this is the best version. To the north of Waxham, in the province of St. Beatrice, Ianthe beat her wings with haste against the wind as she sped towards home. She chanced to glance back at where she'd breathed fire, watching as the flames roared higher than she'd intended across the fields. Her chest felt heavy and tight, but there was simply no turning back. So one of the things I wanted to point out with these 3 passages is, one, they are all the same passage. They all tell the same part of the story. However, there's a big difference in the sentence length. In the good version, which is the first version, we have 9 sentences, and we have sentences that are a little bit more choppy, that made me pause in a couple more areas. The better example has 6 sentences. It's a little bit more put together as far as longer sentences, but there's still a little bit of choppiness detected within that. In the best version, it's actually only 3 sentences long, but those sentences are, like I said, long, and they are packed with detail. In this way, we are able to slow our reader down, give them a sense of seriousness, of kind of importance, that they need to soak in this information, versus those choppier, shorter sentences, which makes them kind of skip past the information a lot quicker. So again, longer sentences is the way to go when you want to give detailed description and make your reader pause for a moment and really absorb the information that you're trying to give them. All right, guys, so this video is already getting a little bit long. Like I said, I'll be throwing up a part 2 in a couple of days on sentence pacing or for shorter sentences. But in the meantime, stay safe, stay sane in these very crazy times. I love you all, and we will be back with another video very shortly. Bye-bye.